Hey there, welcome to TGM's Legal Nuggets, where knowledge meets inspiration. If you're looking for insightful content that informs, empowers, and transforms, this is the place to be. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button now and turn on notifications. Join the community and let us grow together. See you inside. Hello there, welcome again to another exciting episode of TGM's Legal Nuggets. So before we begin, we wish to appreciate you for your support, for subscribing to our YouTube channel and following us on all of our social media handles. We really want to appreciate you for your support and the good work. Now today in our financial crime series, we want to talk about another topic, and that is money laundering. Money laundering in Nigeria, how politicians and power brokers clean dirty money. Now, to begin with, I would like to tell you a story. Now, for early 2000 for Nigeria, a certain governor will be say dey for Nigeria here come make the international headline. Not be saying do better thing, no, now for bad thing, and them for put them for headline. Now, wetin make them put them for headline? Because in carry millions of dollars from Nigeria money in carry them go banks wey dey for abroad. And this na man will be say everybody looks say income from a modest background, or like a very humble background. Suddenly income they live like king. The income they surprise everybody. So where income get the money, like we talked before, na public money. Now in take carry all this money, in carry them through fake companies, through buy big properties everywhere, and also in get some shell accounts where in use. What will be the name of this person? Make I shut my mouth so una know the name of the person. So the way they get some, so now so me I get some too. So now when we talk about money laundering, what do we mean? Now, money laundering refers to the process of disguising the origin of illegally obtained money, typically by passing it through complex transfers and transactions to make it appear legitimate. So when you come get money through means where the law no supports, then you can go pass them through different transfer. You go transfer from one bank to another bank, from one property, use and buy another property, transfer from bank to bank, use and do many transactions. Then you can bring the money out, like say you really earn that money legally. Now that's thing we they call money laundering. But of course, say the law for Nigeria don't define money laundering. Yes. Now this now within the law talk. I say now be the definition of money laundering for Nigeria. Now the conversion or transfer of property, knowing that such property is derived from any criminal activity or from an act of participation in such criminal activity. So when you convert or when you can transfer any property, when you know say that property now through things where the law no support, now you take get them, or you participate in the transfer and all that, say you just they assist or they help one way or the other. Now that one I would call money laundering. Now this is a very destructive crime in Nigeria, a very destructive crime, and it has led to the underdevelopment of Nigeria as a country. Now when we talk about money laundering, we get three major stages for money laundering. The very first stage where you go talk about now, Wetin Dem they call placement. You understand? This placement now means say you go inject the illegal fund into the financial system. That is, after you don't make the money illegally, you go come look for a way to put the money back into the system so that people no go suspect the way you make that money. The come think say now your better money, now you they use, now clean money, now you they use they do that your business. So the second one now layering. Now what be this one now? You go this layering means say you they conceal the source through complex layers of financial transaction. That means after you must have gotten the money illegally and you have brought it out into the system, you then conceal the source by putting them through a series of legitimate businesses. Maybe for example, now if you buy properties, if you buy stocks, if you buy shares, if you just do any legitimate business for society to cover that illegal way where you take they make the money. So you understand. Then the last stage now we they call integration. Wetin be integration now? Integration is reintroducing the funds into the economy as legitimate money. So now after you don't make that money through illegal means, then after you don't come use the money take do something where they legitimate, where they clean, that thing wey you do now go come give you profit. You go come pull your money from that clean business, come bring and come out. So as a result, everybody will think you're making clean money and so on and so forth. So now in Nigeria, have we had notable and factual cases of money laundering? Oh yeah, then you're about the many. So number one, everybody know about the case of James Ibori. James Ibori, na former Delta State governor, wey dem convict for UK in 2012. Oh man, oga launder over 250 million US dollars. Man, that's huge. Now, despite the multiple charges for Nigeria here, now only for abroad, nine them for convict am and sentence them to prison term. For Nigeria, nothing do baba. Then again, what of Alice in Madeke Diezani? That one, a former Minister of Petroleum. The EFCC don't allege say she launder billions of properties, jewelries, and cash running into billions of nairas. We be say them seize. But today, nothing don't happen to Mama. Still not tried in Nigeria, but facing charges in the UK. Nigeria never they touch all those kind of big people. We don't know why. Then again, the case of the former First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Patience Jonathan. That one we hear say now over 15 million US dollars allegedly linked to her from accounts where we say the EFCC don't freeze in 2016. Wetin be the defense where be say the woman give? She said the money was for medical purposes. Say she transfer and go those accounts for medical purposes. Many things happen for Nigeria. Then another case where we get again Abdulrasheed Maina. We don't talk about this Abdulrasheed Maina for like two or for some of our videos. So make una go back, make una go check. Then make una give una comments based on which one I don't experience one-on-one, like for the matter on those videos. Now Abdulrasheed Maina na ex-pension reform boss. Then they convict him for 2021 in launder over 2 billion pension funds. You can imagine. Doesn't make sense, man. Doesn't make sense. Why would you launder 2 billion pension funds belonging to the aged and retired Nigerians? It's sad, man. Really sad. So now, with this money laundering of a question, does it have legal and economic implications, for Nigeria? Oh yeah, it does. So let's talk about some of the legal implications. Number one, criminal liability for the individual and corporate bodies. So any individual caught, any company caught in the act of money laundering, legally you'll be criminally liable. That's a fact. But of course, the EFCC needs to prove it. They need to gather forensic and otherwise evidence to be able to nail it. Then again, what other implication legally for forfeiture of assets under the EFCC Act and Money Laundering Act? You need to forfeit the asset. And then we'll talk about long prison terms. You may have close to 7 to 14 years under Nigerian law. That's a big one. Then economically, what are the implications for Nigeria? Of course, there will be distortion of economic data. Things not go flow normally now, you understand, based on all these things where they come, so things not go correlate. You understand, one person carry that kind of huge amount of money, before you don't distort economic data. If you turn the country into something else as a result of that singular act where we say you carry out. Then again, what else? Weakening of the financial institutions. You can imagine pulling a huge amount of money such as maybe 2 billion, 15 million US dollars and so on and so forth from the Nigerian economy. Obviously, you're trying to run down the economy. So as a result of that, you weaken the financial institutions in Nigeria. Then again, what else? You have reduced foreign investment. When foreigners begin to see that this is the modus operandi, laundering money from Nigeria and taking them into Swiss account, foreign accounts, shell accounts abroad, and so on and so forth, investors lose confidence in your country because of the high level of corruption, and as a result of that, they wouldn't want to come back. So what do? They repatriate their funds if they have any in Nigeria. Yes, again, what else? Poorer infrastructure as public funds are siphoned into private pockets. This one loud gone. So now, When they say person, one individual don't put public funds for inside personal pockets, you know go see roads, you know go see schools, you know go see hospitals, you know go get industries, jobs no go dey, people go dey suffer, everybody go want japa, you understand, because things no dey work well for Nigeria. And it's quite a sad one, and I think the government needs to look into this particular area to see what they can do, because right now it ain't making sense. Okay, yes, so let's move on. How to prove money laundering in court. So they don't catch Oga, you know, now they don't catch Oga say now Oga carry the money, blah blah blah. So now within the EFCC or any other prosecuting agency go need to do to make sure say they prove their case for court. So number one, there must be the existence of criminal proceeds. You must show say the money that this person has actually is a proceed of crime. It actually came off crime. So you need to prove that one. EFCC must trace the funds to illegal activities. Can you actually prove that this person actually engaged in some illegal activities and as such, you know, got those funds? You need to prove that, right? Yeah. Then another thing is the knowledge. The accused must know that the funds came from criminal activity. Definitely. But of course, you know, most times now, some of these criminals, they don't use their names in those foreign accounts, they don't use their names in those companies and such deals. So it's going to be like a burden something. And so you need to really prove that the person was actually knowledgeable about the activity. Anyways, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You could actually show circumstantial, you know, evidences to show that this person is quite knowledgeable, gave instructions, you know, emails or text messages, call logs, and so on and so forth to be able to prove your case. Yeah, that's right. So another thing is conversion or transfer. Evidence of financial movement. You need to, of course, show that certain amount of monies were moved by the corporate from one bank account, maybe from Nigeria to another abroad, and so on and so forth. So you must be able to show forensically in quote, or you must be able to show via practical documentary evidence that there was indeed the movement of funds, you know, from one bank account to another, or from one business to another. Yes. So now, what are the key evidence sources that the prosecution needs to take a look at? Bank records. This is indispensable. Of course, that one did. If bank records no did more, say the case don't default be that. Then again, witness testimonies. You must of course get one or two persons who will be say they are well the transaction way go like, you know the way those FBI, CIA, they run their package now. Once they don't get somebody will be say, you know, the person where they launder the money, then go try to cut a deal, make that person's act as, you know, a spy, a witness, and so on and so forth on the big fish. You understand what those guys matter now? Then forensic accounting, there has to be serious forensic accounting, like serious forensic accounting, to be able to dig out, you know, those hidden accounts and how the monies were moved and stuff like that. You understand? Then last of all, property ownership documents. Property ownership documents, you need to be able to prove that, because most often than not, because properties always appreciate, most of these launderers, you know, put the money into real estate, whether in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. So you need to be able to show that these properties are linked to this particular person. So what are the laws that are applicable? We've talked about them before. We have the Money Laundering Prohibition Act, we have the EFCC Act, we have the Criminal Code and the Penal Code, and then maybe the ICPC, you know, Act, and so on and so forth. So now, yeah, where are we? Where will they go? Now, what will be some of the questions we be say go come to mind when we talk about, you know, money laundering in Nigeria? Of course, everything they boggle, this thing don't they crumble Nigerian economy. We know if we just close our eyes like that, some questions will come our mind now. So maybe we'll consider some of the questions, and those of now will be so that they watch me now, make una put them for the comment section some of the questions where they boggle in our mind, and some of the answers we wanna get to this question. Make una put them, make una meditate for no loss. You understand, based on the matter. So now one question be say, why do many alleged launderers never face trial in Nigeria? Why be so those big fish, the politicians, them, they know they face trial for Nigeria? Because we don't see, you know, traces like that. We don't see instances like that. Why be say they know they always face charges for Nigeria? Then again, Nigerian courts compromised. This one day summer, because now only a few of them now we see say yes, they face trial to the end, and then maybe they'll come give them one light sentence and stuff like that. But So we need to ask the question: is the courts compromised, or they're still up and doing? The another question we will ask ourselves is, why be say the EFCC they quick to act on low-income fraudsters than on those big politicians? Why be say now the small Yahoo boys, the boys which just they do, they one pick one or two here and there, now the courts they quick the sentence, but all those big politicians, all those big billionaires, they know they do them anything. And why it be like that? And then again, what happens to recovered loot? Are they relooted? Or more. This one serious. So what did they happen to those funds? Because at the end of the day, the EFCC will come out and tell us, say, based on the matter, we don't recover this and that and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we know they see the money. We know they see what the government is do. Then they put them back into the budget, or then they quietly they loot them and stuff like that. All those physical cash will be say the EFCC they recover self. Wetin Dem they use and do. Those are questions will be say they bother our mind. Yeah, make una contribute for the comment section, make it for another space on the matter. Then last of all, why does it take foreign courts to secure convictions? Why does it take foreign courts? Why be say Nigerian courts no fit do am? Must we leave it to foreign courts? No, it's a question that we need to answer. It's actually a bothering question. We need to really answer this, and we need to start to provide solutions to these problems. Right. So now, what are some of the challenges of curbing money laundering in Nigeria? Of course, you won't tell me it has been an easy ride. Obviously, the EFCC may be trying its best, but of course, one or two challenges coming their way, and as a result of that, they cannot provide, the right solutions. They have challenges, they have issues that they are being confronted with, and stuff like that. So now, what are some of these challenges? Number one, political interference in investigation. Yes. There are usually political interference in investigation. Oh, they don't catch one big fish, the thing don't make headline. Before you know, one big politician don't come say, make una stop. Oh, that thing they do no make sense. So yeah, make una understand. It's a problem. So political interference in investigation is a problem. Then what again? Weak enforcement mechanism. The enforcement of the law is actually weak, and there needs to be a lot done in that respect. So where the law is enforced to the fullest and to the latter, results would be seen. So the government needs to do more with respect to enforcement mechanisms for the prevailing laws. There are laws. The question is, how do they enforce these laws? That's the problem. Now, delay in judicial processes. Like I said in one of our videos, you could go back and check some of our videos on this. You would, get my opinion there. I was like, there should be specific timelines for financial crimes, particularly money laundering, so that the matter could be heard within a specific period of time and sentence given if the person is found guilty. So delay in the judicial process is actually a problem, because you could do one case for 2 years, 3 years don't go, the matter don't die down, everybody don't lock up, Nigerians don't move on. Nigerians would they like to move on because every man they try to also for in daily bread. Then again, what else? Poor collaboration with international agencies. Now, you see this, there needs to be like an airtight collaboration with international agencies. Now, because they might have technologies that are more or way more advanced than what we have here in Nigeria, and as a result of that could give us the required assistance that is needed to be able to track some of these hidden accounts and stuff like that, to reveal hard facts and with respect to forensic investigation and so on and so forth. So we need to do more with our collaboration with our international partners to be able to bring to light these crimes in Nigeria. Then again, corrupt banking officials aiding money launderers. Yes, the banking sector cannot be ruled out. There are people within the system that are trying to, cover the tracks of these, money launderers. And again, you can tell me that monies would move without the involvement of the banks. The banks are actually involved, and people are the ones behind the movement of these funds. So they try as much as possible to cover the tracks. You understand, to prevent the EFCC and any other investigating body from, uncovering the fact. So that's it. Yes. So now, with all what we've said now, what are some recommendations that we can make with respect to this issue? Yes. Now, one recommendation would be that the anti-graft agencies in Nigeria needs to be truly independent. Yes. They need to be truly independent. Such bodies like EFCC, INEC, and so on and so forth, needs to be independent financially. They need not be funded by the executive arm of, the government, because obviously if the executive arm, funds, then they would be able to influence the decision and the outcome of such investigations and so on and so forth. I think what they should do, they should act more as supervisory bodies, so that the EFCC or any such investigating body do not become a law unto itself. So yes, there needs to be more independence with close supervision. However, the supervision is limited only to supervision and not influencing the outcome of an investigation. Yes, again, what else? Enforce whistleblower protection laws. A lot of whistleblowers who come out to give information to these anti-graft agencies are not well protected and are not well taken care of by the law. Now, these laws are there quite all right, but they are not properly enforced. And when people begin to lose confidence in the credibility of the system, it is a problem. People will no longer feel comfortable to come out to give their opinions and to air their views and expose financial crime within Nigeria, because the protection they might get is not adequate. And that is a problem. We need to really look into that area, devise modern ways and means to enforce the prevailing laws to sort out that problem. Yes, again, what else? We need to adopt digital tracking systems for government expenditure. And this is a problem. The Nigerian, expenditure, it's not trackable, and most of it are done manually. And this is sad. In 2025, things are being majorly done manually, which ain't good. So the other time I recommended, infusing the blockchain technology, which is very, very transparent, into the financial tracking system in Nigeria. So we need to adopt digital tracking system for transparency, accountability. The government needs to be more accountable. Public officials need to be more accountable to the people. People need to see what you're doing with the fund. The fund that was approved, was it done? Was it, moved into the project for which it was approved, and so on and so forth? There needs to be more accountability, in the system. So adopting a digital tracking system for governance expenditure in Nigeria, or for government expenditure, is like, the way to go. Yes, and that's that. Then what else? We need international cooperation and treaties to be utilized. International cooperation and treaties to be utilized to the maximum. Most of them are not. Some of these treaties are just signed and then at the end of the day kept in the shelf. They are not used. They do not, bring them into the system to achieve the purpose for which they were signed in the first instance. So I think the government needs to look into this particular area to see what they can do and come up with. International collaboration is a must. We must collaborate to be able to unearth these financial crimes, particularly money laundering in Nigeria. Despite the fact that quite a number of Nigerian politicians and public office holders have been held accountable, a whole lot more laundering is being done each and every day that passes by in Nigeria. So the government needs to do more. Then again, we need to educate the public, about red flags of money laundering. Definitely, there are red flags to money laundering, and when people come across these red flags, then they need to be able to raise an alarm. But of course, how do they raise an alarm when they are not properly educated? So they need to be properly educated on what these red flags are, so that they can, raise an alarm when they see such. Remember, we talked about how, the three major processes. I'm going to, read them out again. I'm going to say them out again. Now, the three major processes of money laundering. We talk about the placement, we talk about the layering, we talk about the integration. Now, the placement is injecting the illegal funds into the financial system. Layering is the concealing of the source through complex layers of financial transaction. That is, you put them through diverse transaction. And then you talk about integration, reintroducing the funds into the economy as legitimate assets or money. So these are some of the, the awareness that needs to be given to Nigerians. Now, all said and done, money laundering is a silent killer. Of course, it kills the economy, it crumbles the economy. It finances, money laundering can be used to finance terrorism, fuel poverty, and it weakens our democracy, particularly in Nigeria. It weakens our democracy because people no longer have interest and trust in the government of the day. Nigeria must now begin to see how they can rise beyond politics and protect the nation from its greedy elites. Now, the question is this: most people do not realize that life is fleeting, and because life is fleeting, you can't be here forever. So no matter how much you amass for yourself and for your generation, at the point you're going to leave, and then you leave everything behind, and then you begin to ask yourself, to what end? Now, until the law bites the big fish, justice will remain a slogan. Now, what do we mean by this? A whole lot of money launderers, public office holders, and they leave them, and then they go off the hook. The hook, they catch them. So until when we get those big fish, they make them examples in Nigeria, just the way UK and some other foreign countries, they expose them and they convict them. Then we won't get any headway for this country, to be frank. So we need to really be much more serious about this fight. No be a question of, talk here and there, talk here and there. We need to be more practical about this. Yes, so want to appreciate you for being there. So as always, we say, okay, make una subscribe to our channel, Soteria-Television or Soteria TV on YouTube. Leave your comments, so we'll keep the conversation alive, because this is not a topic we really need to talk about as Nigerians. Then again, follow us for our social media. We dey on TikTok, we dey on Facebook. Facebook is TGM Amwero Esquire. TikTok is TGM Amwero Esquire. Instagram is Soteria_TV. So do well to follow us on all our social media handles. We would be expecting your comments, your engagement, your subscription to our YouTube channel. Leave your comment, share, like, and get contributing. Let's talk about this issue. Let me not allow the matter die. You understand, based on the matter, because now when we talk about now people could be more aware, then we can need to do the needful based on make the thing for all of us. Oh yeah, now we appreciate you now, because last I know they do us, so now they always did there for us. Thank you, and see you in our next episode. Bye bye for now.